Jeff Garcia, a name that millions of people around the world instantly recognized, not just for his voice as Jimmy Neutron from the iconic Nickelodeon series The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron, boy genius, but for a persona filled with warmth, humor, unpredictability, and a unique comedic brilliance that lived far beyond the screen. Today's video takes you into a deeply detailed journey, a lifestyle biography, career evolution, emotional ups and downs, and the legacy he leaves behind as we attempt to understand the man behind one of childhood's most beloved voices. But before we begin, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button, press the bell icon, and like the video, because what you're about to hear is a tribute, a story, and a remembrance you shouldn't miss. So let's begin. Jeff Garcia's life wasn't just about Hollywood fame. It was about resilience, identity, laughter, and an extraordinary ability to take everyday life and turn it into something unforgettable. Born in La Puente, California, and raised in a culturally mixed environment, Garcia developed a comedic instinct very early. He wasn't born into privilege. He was born into chaos and creativity. Growing up in a rough neighborhood gave him both the edge and the empathy that defined his personality. He was known to describe his early life as funny and frightening at the same time, and this blend became the foundation of his comedy. His observations about poverty, family struggles, immigrant households, and neighborhood quirks helped him build a comedic voice that was raw, relatable, and absolutely magnetic. Jeff Garcia didn't enter the entertainment industry through a giant Hollywood door. He broke it open through sheer talent. His stand-up comedy roots were filled with late-night club performances, rejections, and the struggle of finding bookings. But every time he got on stage, he owned it. His voice, his timing, and his unique delivery made people laugh uncontrollably, and soon he built a cult following. People didn't just laugh at Jeff Garcia. They felt Jeff Garcia. They felt the kid from La Puente pouring real life into comedy. His big break came when Nickelodeon cast him as Jimmy Neutron's best friend, the hyperactive, eccentric, hilarious Sheen Estevez. That role alone would cement his place in animation history, because Sheen wasn't just a cartoon character. He was a personality powered by Jeff's chaotic energy, improvisation, and unpredictable comedic punch. And soon after, he landed the titular role, Jimmy Neutron. His voice became iconic. It wasn't just voice acting, it was character creation. Millions of children grew up listening to a voice that shaped their imagination, their humor, and their sense of adventure. Even after the original show ended, he continued to lend his voice in spin-offs, movies, and special appearances. But Jeff Garcia was far more than Jimmy Neutron. His comedy tours were packed, his Netflix specials gained traction, and his presence in Latino comedy communities became legendary. What made Jeff special was that he didn't try to fit in with mainstream Hollywood. He kept his rawness, his edge, and his unfiltered authenticity. He talked about life as it was, not as Hollywood pretended it to be, and that earned him the love of millions. Lifestyle-wise, Jeff Garcia lived surprisingly simple. While many imagined he lived a luxury-filled Hollywood life, the reality was much more grounded. He preferred staying close to his roots, spending time with family, keeping a small circle of trusted friends, and living in a calm, humble environment. He often said that fame didn't mean anything if you lost the people who made you who you are. He loved cooking, loved old-school hip-hop, loved long drives, and loved making people laugh, even offstage. He wasn't the type to post expensive cars or flashy vacations online. He was the guy who would sit at a taco shop cracking jokes about the guy sitting 2 tables away. Another key part of his life was his relationship with fans. Jeff Garcia had one of the most engaged, emotionally connected fan bases because he never felt distant from them. He replied to messages, interacted during shows, and treated fans like family. Jeff wasn't just a performer. He was genuinely lovable. But behind the laughter was a man carrying emotional weight. Garcia often struggled with mental pressure, the ups and downs of fame, family complications, and the exhausting nature of comedy. Like many comedians, he used humor to cope with personal pain, but he rarely showed that vulnerability publicly. Still, those close to him said that Jeff had one of the biggest hearts you could ever imagine. He gave more than he received, cared more than he admitted, and loved more deeply than he often expressed. His bond with fellow comedians was deep too. Many described him as the unfiltered king of the backstage. His humor backstage was even funnier than his stage shows, because backstage Jeff was free. No restrictions, no script, no limits. He supported upcoming comedians, encouraged struggling artists, and always shared advice rooted in experience. His legacy in the comedy world is far bigger than most people realize. His influence shaped a generation of Latino comedians who saw Jeff Garcia and realized they didn't need to change who they were to succeed. They could be loud, wild, emotional, honest, and still win hearts. Financially, Jeff Garcia did well. Between voice acting, stand-up tours, specials, and appearances, he built an estimated net worth that placed him among the most successful comedic voice actors of his generation. But money was never the centerpiece of his life. What mattered to him was impact, making people laugh, making people think, and leaving behind something beautiful. And he did. His legacy is carved into the childhood memories of millions. Even decades from now, when a new generation discovers Jimmy Neutron, they'll hear Jeff's voice and feel the same joy millions felt before them. His passing left a heavy silence in the world of entertainment. People described it as the end of an era because it wasn't just a voice actor leaving us. It was a friend, a comedian, a real one. The cause of death, as reported, left fans heartbroken, but the legacy he leaves behind is bigger than any tragedy. His work lives, his voice lives, his laughter lives, and the joy he brought lives forever. Jeff Garcia taught us that humor isn't just entertainment. It's healing. It's connection. It's life. Jeff Garcia's passing sent a wave of shock and sadness across the entertainment world. Fans, friends, and fellow artists mourned not just a performer, but a voice that became a core part of their childhood. The cause of his death was heartbreaking, but the world chose to focus less on how he left and more on the unforgettable legacy he left behind. Social media filled with emotional tributes. People sharing memories of watching Jimmy Neutron before school, laughing at Sheen's wild lines, or discovering Jeff's stand-up during tough moments in life. His voice wasn't just entertainment. It was comfort, connection, and nostalgia. Colleagues described him as a backstage powerhouse of humor, the guy who made everyone laugh, even off camera. Fans were surprised to learn how simple and grounded Jeff's real life was. No Hollywood show-off, no ego, just a man who loved making people smile and staying close to his roots. His net worth reflected success, but his true wealth was the joy he gave millions. Even after his passing, artists around the world created tribute art, animations, and memorial scenes honoring him. Latino communities especially celebrated him as a trailblazer who inspired countless comedians and voice actors to chase their dreams without losing their identity. In the end, Jeff Garcia's impact can't be measured in numbers or awards. It lives in the laughter he created and the memories he shaped. His voice will continue echoing across generations, reminding us that great artists never truly leave. They live forever through the joy they gave the world.